make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up.
Welcome back to another episode of Lone Star College Football. We know it's been a minute, but we're back. We're going to talk about this 2023 preseason All-Big12 team. Got Logan in the building with us.
Sir. Second.
It's not that big of a preseason Big 12 team for the Baylor Bears.
No, it's not.
Let's start there. Let's start with Richard Reese. I will say this. I may have one, but Richard Reese is that guy. He is that guy in the Big 12. He has real potential to be the best running back in the Big 12 this year. I think he'll make a splash in all of CFB. Maybe not quite good enough to win the Doak Walker or Heisman, but he's gonna make a splash for what you got to tell us about Richard Reese this year?
Now, I think that the Big 12 media, because that's who did the voting for this team, I think they hit the nail right on the head, especially with the running backs for sure. Richard Reese, I'm going to give my props to Devin Neal. He is a dog. Yep. But I think that Richard Reese will have the better year because I feel like he has a better chance of staying healthy because Devin Neal is going to be a one-man show back there in the backfield as far as running backs go. I mean, he has Jalen Daniels to bounce off of, which he's great on his feet and great with his arm. But I think that Richard Reese, if Dave Aranda uses him the way that he should be used and the way that we saw how he could play last year, with an exception of some games where they didn't hand him the ball or our O-line just got destroyed by Texas, for example, Richard Reese is going to be great. Like he might, like you said, he might not be able to get the Doak Walker, might not be able to get a Heisman finalist at that, but I feel like he could be in the top 5, if not the top 3 running backs in the nation this coming year. And who knows how his junior year is going to look.
Yeah, got all the intangibles of a great college football running back. He's going to be exciting to watch for sure. You know, it kind of hurts my heart to not see a Texas running back on here. You know, we've been spoiled the last few years having Bijan and Roschon. Jonathan Brooks will make himself a splash. He'll be on the SEC list next year. But let's not talk about that. Texas led the Big 12 in teams. That's kind of us. We don't generally do that. So on the offensive side, we've got 3. Xavier Worthy, obviously, just an elite receiver, 21 games, 21 touchdowns, had a phenomenal true freshman season. Took a step back last year. To be fair, he did have a broke hand. He didn't have as much receiver help to help take the pressure off of him like we were hoping he would. New quarterback. It happens. We expect him to take a big jump forward. What do you think we should expect out of Xavier Worthy?
See, out of Xavier Worthy, I feel like we're not going to get as many targets because he's going to have A.D. Mitchell,
Jordan Whittington, Isaiah Nayor,
Isaiah Nayor. I mean, y'all just have a crazy stacked skill room. Now, y'all's running backs did take a step back, which how could you not coming off of Bijan and Roschon? I mean, y'all's receiver room is nasty. I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have thrown up 2 Texas receivers here, which I think they didn't just out of, respect because Jaron Bradley from Texas Tech was a great true freshman last year, just as was Richard Reese. And Brennan Presley, he's been solid for Oklahoma State. He's been the bright spot on that team.
Yeah, but
the past couple years that he's been there.
Oklahoma State's quarterback situation is so bad. I don't see him being at the end of the year on this list.
No,
There's a better chance you get 2 Texas receivers over him.
Oh, for sure.
There's a better chance Keetron Jackson for Baylor's on this list over Brennan Presley.
I agree because he doesn't have anybody except for Alan Bowman throwing him the ball. But anyways, Ja'Tavion Sanders, we saw how good he was last year. Everybody that has a brain will tell you that he might be the second best tight end in all of college football. I mean, it's Brock Bowers, Ja'Tavion Sanders, and then the field.
I agree.
And it's not close at all.
Yeah, Jatavion, he's been working on his craft. As a true freshman, he didn't get on the field too terribly much because his blocking wasn't up to par. He worked on it. He got it. He got it settled. His blocking last year was solid. And he was a two-way player in high school. He also played defensive end. So the dude is just an athlete. He's used to getting his hands on people and moving them. He did it well. He's going to do it well. I think we see a big year out of him, and he ends up in the NFL next year. The last offensive side of the ball, this is an exciting
I don't
one.
think this is a shock to anybody at all.
It cannot be a shock, but it's exciting because as football fans, sometimes we like to get super hyped for these skill players, but we don't like to give the big guys up front as much love. Kelvin Banks, left tackle, dude. As a true freshman last year, he went up against 4 first-round draft picks.
Yep.
4. Gave up 1 sack. As a true freshman, at left tackle, the hardest offensive line position, as a true freshman, that's just a phenomenal showing. The dude, it can only get better. Honestly, if you could get drafted after 1 year, Kelvin Banks would have been maybe a first-round draft pick after 1 season. So I'm excited to get 2 more years with Kelvin Banks.
See, Kelvin Banks is probably my favorite offensive lineman in all of college football this year. I mean, if you listen to what Jordan Whittington said about him in an interview this offseason, talking about how there was one practice where Jordan Whittington dropped a pass, and all you see is big old Kelvin Banks running right at him. Just like, what is this guy about to do? And then Kelvin's like, hey, man, don't worry about it. We'll get him on the next play. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Like, you don't see that from a freshman. You're supposed to see that from a 8th-year guy like Jordan Whittington, not a true freshman left tackle. That
8th-year guy.
I mean, he might as well be. He's like 40 now.
It's not his 5th year.
But anyways, all jokes aside, Kelvin Banks is great player, stupid explosive off the line, and he will move a semi truck, if not the house that I'm in right now. He is crazy athletic, crazy strength. Great guy.
Yeah, I agree. Before we move on to the defense, let's just talk about the quarterback, Jalen Daniels. He's a guy. We did our quarterback tier list a few months ago, and we had Jalen Daniels at the top of that. He's a baller. He didn't finish last season out too great as far as win-loss records. He did put up almost 550 and 5 touchdowns against Arkansas in their bowl game that they lost. Coming off an injury, though, they were like 5-0 before he got hurt.
Yeah.
If he stays healthy last year, I can see Kansas winning 8 games. I mean, and for Kansas, that's a big feat for Lance Leipold and their offense. Devin Neal's also on that, and they have an offensive line on that. So don't sleep on Texas or on Kansas too much. They've got 3 players on the offensive side of the ball in this team.
Yeah, I think Kansas is a really, really big sleeper for a lot of the media members because they came out with their Big 12 power rankings, whatever. And Kansas was like 9th.
9th
or 10th. And it doesn't make any sense.
They've got 4 players on this list. Yeah. Texas has 5.
And Lance Leipold is a crazy good coach, and he proved that before he even came to Kansas.
I agree.
But I think that Jalen Daniels and Devin Neal, along with a lot of other pieces that they're going to have to find diamonds in the rough, kind of like Baylor has done in the past, like a lot of these other smaller schools have done in the past, and they can pull out some wins. If he didn't get hurt last year, he only played in 9 games, and one of those was the game he got hurt in. And one of them was also a bowl game.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people forget. And he still threw for, I think it was 67% completion percentage on the year while having 7 rushing touchdowns and 8 in the air. Jalen Daniels is a good quarterback. And I think with Lance Leipold being his second year in the mix with him, it's gonna be a big one.
Yeah. Moving on to the defensive side, it's kind of shocking to me. Byron Murphy, he had 24 total tackles and 1 sack last year. He didn't play a whole lot. I think this is all voted on him by upside potential.
No,
And he definitely has it, right? I mean, you look at the guy. He's 6'1", which isn't huge, but he's 300 pounds, which kind of is huge.
that
And
big boy right there.
so he's going to be tough to move. I don't really have too much to say about him because, like I said, he wasn't a starter last year. He wasn't somebody that we saw a lot, but he definitely can break out. I don't know as if I see it, to be honest, but I'm excited to hopefully see it. I'm hoping they're right.
Yeah,
And then the big name on the defensive side of the ball for the Texas
of course.
Longhorns, Jalen Ford. Dude was a stud. In fact, if you look, they actually have him listed as the Defensive Player of the Year prediction for them as
Exactly.
well. Should have won it last year.
Agreed.
Yeah, dude, Jalen Ford, list off his stats real quick. 119 total tackles, 2 sacks, 2 passes defended, 4 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. The dude was everywhere. He was making plays at the end of games to seal the deal for us. And man, if he takes honestly, if he just repeats that, he's gonna be a top pick.
Yeah,
If he makes
he's
any
he's
kind
a
of
first round
step
pick.
forward, yeah, I think so. I think so for sure.
I will say, besides Jalen Ford, the second biggest name that pops out to me on this list has got to be Kobe Savage from K State.
Mm-hmm.
That dude has been locked down ever since he joined the Big 12. I mean, he's great coverage, great speed, and if he needs to, he can blitz off the edge and get to the quarterback. He's all over the field. If he's not covering the play, he's making a tackle. He's disrupting something. He's a really good he's a really good player for the Wildcats. Now, my favorite, of course, to win Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year is Jalen Ford. I think that should be obvious to anybody that actually watches football and isn't biased to their own team. I mean,
Except for me.
Yeah, for the Texas fans, of course, but to the people that don't, Jalen Ford is going to be a first round pick next year.
I think so.
Now, one thing I'm upset about is no Devin Lemire, but whatever.
Well, I was actually going to hop into a couple people that I'm kind of surprised on. Our best defensive lineman on the Texas team is Barron Sorrell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of surprised that Byron Murphy made it and Barron Sorrell didn't. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think they do play two different. I know Barron Sorrell's an edge rusher. I think Byron Murphy is a D tackle.
Yeah.
But these just have them listed as defensive line. It doesn't really specify.
Yeah.
Also, Ryan Watts.
Didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
And to be fair, Jalen Catalon, he was at the end of the season, he was an all SEC freshman player. If he can make all SEC with those defenses, if he's healthy, I don't see any reason why he can't. I'm not blaming them for not putting him on because he didn't play in the Big 12 last year and he was hurt a lot last year. But, dude, Ryan Watts, stud defensive back. I don't know all these guys listed for some of these other schools, so I can't take anything away from them statistically.
Kobe Bryant, DB from Kansas, is also very well. He's also a very good guy or good player. I mean, I'm not sure about personality, but he's a really good player, and he's the same way as Kobe Savage for Kansas State. He's in coverage, and if you need him to, he will blow up the run in the middle of the field.
Yeah. I mean, Ryan Watts, 53 tackles, 3 passes defended, and 1 interception. I guess 1 interception isn't amazing.
No, the dude's 6'4". Not a lot of people are catching a pass on him.
It's true. Savage had a couple more tackles, no passes defended, but he had 2 more interceptions. He had 3. Mm-hmm. TJ Tampa, who's that for Kansas?
Iowa State. Now, some of these other guys,
way less tackles, but 9 passes defended, only 1 interception. That's not bad.
I mean, I look at some of these guys and I'm like, who?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Josh Newton, never heard of her.
I mean, there's gonna be. He might be an Alabama transfer. You don't know how many people TCU picked up or what positions. Because they had to. They had to go get their average age of like 25 back. like it was last year.
No, Josh Newton, actually. I mean, 35 tackles, but 12 passes defended and 3 interceptions.
That's not bad at all.
I mean, no, and a touchdown.
But I look at
So,
some
I
of
mean,
these people
I
like
won't take it away from
Oklahoma
him.
State. Like, who? It's Colin Oliver.
Kendall Daniels?
Kendall Daniels? Who? Now, that might just be me watching one of their games one time a year, but I don't know. I haven't heard these guys' names. I mean, I'm not going to hear anything about the new four schools. I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched any of their games. And it looks
Kendall
like
Daniels
there's only two.
as a safety. 71 tackles, 5 passes defended, 3 interceptions. 1 forced fumble. Yeah, I mean they're solid. I'm not trying to take it away from them, but Ryan Watts is gonna be a stud. Y'all see.
Devin Lemire is going to have a great season this year as a true sophomore. True sophomore. But yeah, I mean, that was just a couple guys that I think are under the radar. I think that Keytron Jackson has a really good shot of getting up there for that end of the season Big 12 team. I think that Monterey Baldwin could as well, as long as he stays healthy, because that was his one problem last year is health.
Yeah. What I'm gonna say, this will be my last closing thing. The newcomer of the year is Trayshawn Ward, Kansas State running back. I don't really think I get that because I think that Kansas State has Giddens, right? Giddens is their backup from last year. He was solid, so I don't see this Trayshawn Ward guy being a great newcomer. I would much rather see a name like Keytron Jackson, A.D. Mitchell.
A.D. Mitchell should have been there.
People like that, I think, can make more of an impact as a newcomer than a running back who, in my opinion, will be a second string running back for Kansas State.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe, obviously these people know stuff we don't. So
yeah, DJ Giddens is going to be a really big name that a lot of people are going to have to learn really fast because he was behind Deuce Vaughn. So it's going to be interesting. I think that they hit the nail on the head as far as offensive side. Defensive side, I don't know as many names, but looking at stats could tell a whole different story. I also want to point out real quick, last thing, Ben Sinnott for K-State is listed as a fullback, which, I mean, they had sets for him like that, kind of like how we had for Dylan Doyle, but you didn't see Dylan Doyle being a fullback on the Big 12 team. But I mean, I guess
he wasn't going to get in as tight end. Yeah, no. So I wanted to get his name in there. I don't blame him.
He's a pretty good option. Not a lot of teams in the Big 12 run fullbacks anyways, because we're all really spread, air raid.
I like CJ Donaldson at West Virginia at fullback over Ben Sinnott, but hey, true. What do I know? What do I know? With that being said, guys, if y'all made it to the end of this video, we do appreciate y'all rocking with us. Sorry, it's been a long time since we've had our last video, but as we're moving into July, right? Football's getting closer and closer. You can smell it in the air. It's real far off, but we're getting closer, so we're hopefully going to have more content for y'all. Make sure y'all checking us out on TikTok. We're about to start posting a lot more over there. And if y'all haven't, give Casey Crutcher a call at 903-948-5195 at Rollo Insurance. See what he can save y'all on your home, auto, life, health, and business, commercial insurance. He saved me and my family $40 a month. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.